The worst consequence is mortality. And mortality means death. So, till now in our country, the mortality is around 2.8 per 100. So, which is much lower than the world statistics. But if a child who is in the school and who is between 10 and say 18 years of age, he has a good immune system to fight with the virus. He will not get any problem. But he will be a carrier to the society, which is more vulnerable. For example, he may be having a brother or a sister at home who is, say, less than 10 years old or less than 8 years old, where the immune system is not fully developed. Or he may be having his grandpa, his grandma, who are compromised people and who are more than 60 years of age. So, in both the situation, COVID can be dangerous. So, keeping in view this aspect, the public places where there is a gathering are not being opened up. So, that's a precaution. Alternate to everything has been found for gyms, for restaurants, and for schools. Though the alternates are not as good as what normally they should be, but it is still better than nothing. So, like pushing by people and by parents to really in lesser time start off with schools is really really not to be done. So I think that's all for the preventions, the social preventions for COVID. Since it doesn't have a perfect medicine, prevention is the only cure. So I wind up with this. Any questions? I would be pleased to answer.
Vanna ma'am, good morning, Dr. Jitendra Lal.
Good morning.
May I please interrupt in between?
Sure.
Actually, Dr. Kamal is in a rush. In fact, Dr. Deepak as well. So we'll have the questionnaire session a little later. First,
Oh,
we'll
that's
allow
great.
Dr. Kamal to speak on.
Okay, that's great.
Good morning. As as we all know, the pandemic is there, and the education has shifted from schools to homes, and that too with the use of smartphones. Now these smartphones, excessive use of these smartphones, are leading to certain problems like eye strain, computer vision syndrome, dry eyes, sore eyes, and headaches. I would love to talk about the causes, why these things are called, and what can be done to avoid them. Because presently, and I don't know for how long, we'll be living with this COVID and precautions thereof. So, first of all, blinking eye less. As you all know, blinking of the eyes is very important because it spreads the tear over the cornea, avoiding any dryness. And in a minute, without our knowledge, eye blinks 15 times a day. But when we are using the smartphones and constantly viewing the smartphones, this blinking is reduced to half. If this blinking is reduced to half, the eye is not able to recover and is having this strain. Second major factor is convergence or squinting. All the time, we are looking towards the smartphone and our all our eye muscles, they converge the eye. The lens has to become bigger, more convex to see the things clearly. And all these, with these efforts, our eyes, the muscles are getting they are overworked. With the result, we get strain, and we get strain not only in the eye muscles, the muscles of the neck, muscles of the shoulder, And thirdly, the glare phenomena. Our eyes are not able to adjust to the increased light which is falling on our eyes. With the result, this extra glare into our eyes is spoiling them. The eyes are not used to it. So, with this, strain is increasing. Another factor is blue light. Now, this blue light, whenever we see in normal light, the ultraviolet and the infrared rays, they do not enter eye. It is protected by the eye, but the blue light, when it enters the eye, it surely damages or may is injurious to the macular part. Now this again there's another thing, headache. Excessive use of smartphones and constant convergence can lead to headache. Now, as you all know, we have to live with this, and it may become a way of life. We don't know for how long. So, how should we prevent these things? There are very simple things. If they are followed, the eyes can be protected from overuse. First of all, turn your glare. Means whenever you are using a smartphone, the brightness level should be reduced to less than 50%. The color and the contrast should be bare minimum. The size of the text should be increased so that it is easily readable. And remember, blink, blink, and blink, which is very important, because when blinking is less, it is very difficult for eyes to recover. And breaks, as I say that while we are looking towards a smartphone for 20 minutes, we need a rest of more than 15 to 30 seconds. How can we take rest? We just have to remove our eyes from the smartphone, look at a distance so that all the muscles of the eye and by the side of eye, they are relaxed, and blink and the eyes so that the tear film spreads over the eyes. Now, after these breaks, there are another things we should you should also look for. These are your sitting posture. You should not be sitting on the table or lying on the bed and holding your smartphone in hand. And your screen should be very clean. And your smartphone, if they are held, they should be held as far as possible so that the eyes do not strain. And now coming on to the conversion, what conversion can we do at home? We can, I mean, we are reading on smartphone, they should be converted into larger screens, and we can see the things from a distance. Or whenever we are reading, we are listening to a lecture, wherever we can avoid videos, we can listen to audio only. So like science, we have to see the diagrams, we have to see the so many things. So what video is a must. But if languages in English, Hindi, when you are you can only audio will be enough for it. So visual impressions are less. So in short, I can say that though our eyes are strained and it will take time to for eyes to adjust to the newer things, you can take these precautions as you are doing social distancing, masking, and all other precautions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kamal Kapoor. You know, you told us your session was an informative one, and you talked about how we can take care of our eyes during this pandemic. And if in case any questions are to be asked, one or two questions can be taken up before Dr. Deepak Kapoor joins us. So children, any question? If you want to ask, one or two questions can be addressed to Dr. Kamal Kapoor. Switch on your camera and your mic.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
Good morning.
Sorry.
I'm Gaurav of class 9, and I would like to ask this question that being an eye surgeon, what is the limit of time that you recommend for online classes to take place?
Sorry, louder.
Yes, ma'am. Being an eye surgeon, what is the time limit you recommend for the online classes to take place?
Okay, interesting one, Dr. Kapoor.
I couldn't hear. Can you repeat the question?
Sir, the question is that being an eye surgeon, she's asking, Gauri is asking of class 9, that how long should the online classes ideally should take place so that the eyes are okay? For how long the online
As I
classes
said,
should go on?
20 minutes is the limit for a class. Then you need a rest of 25 to 30 seconds. But how many times these classes can be there? 2 or 3. Means in a day, maximum 2 hours of viewing should be there. Not more than that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any other question? One more question we can take up before Dr. Deepak addresses us.
Let me question Dr. Kamal on behalf of the parents and on behalf of my students also, because what the schedule we have been doing, we have classes of 4 hours. It sounds 4 hours, very long hours, but we have morning assembly where you don't have to glue to the screens. Then we have 35 minutes of teaching, which is not necessarily looking at the screen. It's more on listening rather than watching and doing something on the screen. And then after every 35 minutes, teachers make them do the exercises. Look at the distance, look at your nose. So you move around your eyeballs and do the exercise and blink the eyes. 5 minutes. And then we go on to the next period. So with this, do you think we should reduce the duration to 20 minutes? Because 20 minutes is not on the screen. It's more on the listening, a little bit of looking on the screen, and then 5 minutes exercise after every 35 minutes, and then 20 minutes break after 3 periods. So do you think we should rectify our schedule? Because most of our parents are also concerned about it. And when I see my young generation glued to their smartphones for hours watching movies constantly without blinking their eyes for 4 hours, and constantly throughout the day and night, while sleeping, while walking. So I don't think teaching needs more listening, a little bit of watching, and then doing exercise. Do you think we should reduce a period?
I think if you mix audio and video, the problem will be solved. I mean, it is not the total class, it is the video part of it. If video part is 20 minutes maximum, and then if we add audio part to it, there is absolutely no problem.
Right. So we can go ahead with this schedule, 35 minutes period, 5 minutes break after every 35 minutes, after 3 minutes, 20 minutes break, with constant 5 minutes exercise after every 35 minutes. So I hope I have most of the students wanted to know about it. See the young generation and see the corporate people. They work for 12 hours on the screen and they continuously have to work with their fingers. You don't have to write or print or look at the screen only. So I hope the precautions, what Dr. Kamal, valuable precautions Dr. Kamal has given, they are wonderful, and we can keep our eyes safe and we can have our learning as well. Thank you, Dr. Kamal. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And the doctor's consent is here, children. Okay, so we are going in the right direction, right way. Okay, I think we can go on now to Dr. Deepak Kapoor. Rest of the questions can follow later. Yes, so Dr. Deepak, of course, is a child specialist. So whatever he's going to talk about will be focused on how children can cope up with this COVID-19 situation and how we can follow a healthy life, a positive lifestyle we can follow. Dr. Deepak, over to you, please.
Thanks, Vandana. Good morning,
Happy Doctor's Day, Deepak.
Thanks, Lalita, thanks. I want you children to realize is that we are dealing with one virus. We are not dealing with a terrorist. Right? It is a virus like every other virus. The only reason why we are scared today is because there is no known cure for it. It does not mean that we will not be able to find a cure for it. It is only that right now we don't know too much about the virus. Therefore, we are slightly scared. जिस चीज का पता नहीं होता उसे आदमी ज्यादा करता है. ठीक है? So first of all, don't be scared of the virus. But on the other hand, there is a thing called optimism bias. Don't be overconfident कि मुझे कुछ नहीं होगा. आज तक नहीं हुआ तो कुछ नहीं होगा. If you read the newspaper headlines today, there was a wedding somewhere in Bihar where the groom fell ill and died 2 days after the wedding, and 100 people who attended the wedding are ill. Another in Rajasthan where the entire wedding party fell ill, 6 lakh rupees they had to pay a fine. So that is an optimism bias. Nothing will happen to us. कुछ नहीं होता. Try and find the middle path. Don't get too scared and don't be too overconfident. So what can we do? Very simply, what we know for sure is that there are certain basic precautions that we have to follow. Social distancing, wearing a mask, personal hygiene, and the hygiene of the surroundings. As long as you stick to this, you are fairly safe. The second thing which you must remember is that children as a whole have much better immunity and have much lesser chances of symptomatic infection. But the danger is that when children go home and they meet their parents and grandparents, those people are at a greater risk of contracting severe infection. So that is why even if you are not going to fall ill, you have to be careful for your loved ones. That is one thing. Secondly, physical treatment of COVID infection, it keeps changing from day to day. First, we were talking of hydroxychloroquine, then remdesivir, Fabifir. So many of these medicines are coming in. And they will keep changing until we finally have a settled protocol, a settled means of treatment. But what I would like you to keep in mind, and that is important, is that how are you going to live with COVID? Because COVID will not the next 2 years. How will we conquer COVID? Either we find a vaccine and a treatment which controls COVID, what is called herd immunity. What is herd immunity? Herd immunity is people in a population develop immunity to a illness, and then that illness cannot affect as severely as it has been affecting so far. So herd immunity will take time to develop. Till herd immunity develops or till we find a medical cure for the illness, we have to learn to live with it. So what have you got to do? There are some things which you have to face, and the first thing you're going to face is isolation and the psychological problems which come with isolation. When you go to school, it is not merely to attend a lecture or to learn something. It is to interact with your friends. It's also to interact with your teachers. किसी से झगड़ा होगा वो भी एक interaction है. किसी से प्यार मोहब्बत होती है, हंसते हो, even that is an interaction. Right now, you are kept away from such social interaction. And as Aristotle has very rightly put, man is a social animal. So isolation is going to lead to certain negative things. First of all, it can lead to fear, excessive fear, that everything can cause COVID. If I get COVID, I will die. Forget that. Learn to have a positive attitude to life. It is known that if you are depressed, your immunity levels will fall. These studies have been done in the case of tuberculosis and so many other illnesses, not in the case of COVID. But what is true for them is also likely to be true for COVID. That if you have a positive attitude, your immunity is going to be better. If you have a fearful attitude or a negative attitude, then your immunity is going to be best. So have a positive attitude. 2, learn to develop hobbies which are not related to electronic aids. Do your exercises. Go out in the open. Breathe in fresh air. If you have a pet, play with a pet. The more you interact with nature and with human beings, the better you will be. But remember, during this interaction, you have to maintain the precautions of social distancing. ऐसा नहीं कि घर से बाहर निकल के हो जाके गले मिल लिया. You can't do that. But you can definitely wear your mask, keep that distance of 2 meters, and talk, walk around. So gradually things have to open up, and gradually they will open up. And you're going to learn to live with COVID. There is nothing very great to fear about COVID. It's a virus like any other. More than 80% of the people who get infected with COVID are asymptomatic. They do not have anything. Out of the 20% who are left, another 90% are people who are not going to have serious illness. They're going to have mild illness. It's only the 2-3% left who have serious illness. So there's no need to fear of it. There is no need to go out of your way to say, enjoy your time. This time shall also pass. It's not a very long time. Sooner or
Dr. Deepak, I think we've got disconnected. Pallavi ma'am? Pallavi ma'am, if you could see to it, please. Hello? Okay. Children, by the time Dr. Deepak joins us again, you can think about 1 or 2 questions, good ones if you want to put to Dr. Deepak. I hope he'll be able to join us soon. Anybody who's interested to put up a question? Yes, Kinjal, you can. You can ask Dr. Kamal Kapoor also is there. You can ask him also. Your choice. Yes. Go ahead, Beta. Yes, Kinjal.
Able to hear Dr. Deepak. Pallavi,
Pallavi ma'am, please see
take
to it.
care.
yeah. So children, there is no need to get scared of COVID. It is like an enemy you have identified. The more you come to know of it, the easier it is going to be for you to tackle it. But ensure you have physical exercise, ensure that you have a positive mind, and the rest is all going to get sorted out. You have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Dr. Deepak. Children, your questions, please.
Good morning, sir. I am Kinjal of class 10. First of
Yes.
all,
So you can ask Dr. Kamal.
Yes, Kunjal, what is it that I couldn't answer for you?
first of all, happy Doctor's Day, sir.
Thank you so much.
Sir, as we all know that rainy season is about to come. Sir, as we know that rainy season is about to come and many diseases occur in rainy season. So what we can do to increase our immunity and how can we protect from corona also?
As good question, because this is a question which is going to confuse a lot of people. I cannot give you a very clear answer right now. The reason being that what we know about COVID is limited. But we know one thing. How does COVID present? It presents like any other viral illness. Cough, cold, fever, body ache. Right? So how do you increase your immunity? You increase your immunity, 1, as I told you, by maintaining a positive attitude, 2, by regular exercise, and 3, there are some foods which are supposed to increase immunity. These fall in the realm of Ayurveda because allopathy does not really talk about foods which increase immunity. But we know that immunity, vitamin C increases immunity. Vitamin C is found in amla, which is found in your citrus fruits. It's also found in chilies. So when you eat fresh food, avoiding preserved food, which has less chemicals, lots of vegetables and fruits, your immunity automatically will be there. So there's no need to eat food that, oh, this is going to increase my immunity. No. Eat food because it's fresh food, which is a part of a balanced diet, and your immunity will also increase. If possible, take a tablet of vitamin C once in a while, take some zinc tablet once in a while, but these are not 100% cures. You can just increase your immunity by just following simple precautions. Eat sensibly. Don't eat preserved food. You can eat non-vegetarian food. Non-vegetarian food has nothing to do with COVID. You can eat regular fresh food and you're going to be fine. Don't bother too much.
Thank you.
I
Thank
know
you,
this is not
Doctor.
a very specific answer, but this is
Thank you,
about
sir.
it. Nothing more than this.
Ananya,
You're
you can
welcome.
also
Anyone else?
put up your question better. Ananya.
Yes, ma'am. Very good morning, sir. My name is Ananya and I'm student of class 9. Happy Doctor's Day, sir.
Thank
Sir,
you, Ananya.
I wanted to ask that what are the most common symptoms of this flu which can be found among the kids, as headaches and catching common cold is very common, and we have heard that even though if we are not coming in contact with the corona infected patients, then also people are being diagnosed with this virus. So what are the common symptoms among the kids, sir?
The most common symptoms, Ananya, are the symptoms of a common cold or flu-like illness. We call body aches, fever, sore throat, cough, coryza. Coryza meaning running nose. You also have diarrhea as a symptom in some people, or conjunctivitis as a symptom in some people, though it's not as common as the ones I've mentioned earlier. But diarrhea, redness of the eyes, discharge from the eyes. There are some skin lesions which are also now being found to be associated with COVID infection. But how do we diagnose that this child has COVID and this child does not have COVID? That is the diagnostic conundrum. Now, what happens is that as a doctor, I would look at it. One, as I said, if it's a mild illness, I'm not too worried whether the child has COVID or does not have COVID. It only becomes important when the child has significant illness which requires hospitalization. Most illnesses are mild, will recover by themselves. So what do I do now? First is I put the patient at ease, and the second and equally important part is I make sure I don't get an infection from that patient. Because if I get an infection from that patient, I can give it to somebody else. Now, how do we diagnose that, okay, this patient, let me do a COVID test? What I would call is a high index of suspicion. Is there a history of travel? Does the locality have a number of people who have unusual illnesses? Is somebody in the family also ill with an unusual illness? Is the illness more severe than I would generally think it to be? Now, this is subjective. It's not objective. But if I think that this particular person's illness is not following the pattern which normally I'm seeing in these people most these days, then yes, I would prefer to test him for COVID. But for every routine patient, I would not test for COVID. I would let a few days pass before I reach a judgment that yes, this patient needs to be tested. Because if I test every patient for COVID, I'm going to create a panic situation in the entire region. And as I told you, there is no reason to panic because most people don't require treatment. Most people will recover. So don't be worried about COVID per se. Lead a healthy life, that is sufficient. But at the same time, the precautions which Dr. Jitendra Lal has mentioned, wearing a mask, social distancing, personal hygiene, frequent washings, use of sanitizers, and sanitization of your environment, that's about it. Relax. Have a good time.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you. And now, children, I think one question before we go on to the next one. We'll have an interactive session. Just be a bit patient towards the end of the session, please. Okay. So one question can be put to Dr. Kamal Kapoor. If in case there's something related to eyes or anything you want to ask, you're most welcome. One question can come our way. And after that, we will have a session towards the end. Yes, please. Anybody? Any question for Dr. Kamal Kapoor?
He satisfied everybody so well. No questions
Fine,
required.
fine, ma'am. Then I think we will move further. Now, LMS is indeed.
Sorry to
Yes,
interrupt.
please, please.
Vandana, sorry to interrupt.
Yes, Dr. Deepak.
But both Kamal and I have to rush for our patients. If you will excuse us. And it's an open invitation. Any child has any questions, number 9418151999. Feel free to give me a call. Right? Anytime you need to question to be answered, just give me a call.
Thank you so much, dear doctors. Your presence you have graced our occasion, sir. By your presence, both of you.
Thank you,
It means
Dr.
a
Deepak and
lot.
Dr. Deepak.
You've taken out time.
Yeah. Vandana, I would like to
Yes,
add
please,
on.
ma'am.
They are not the only doctors of the very valuable doctors, but they are all the three doctors are very close to LMS. They are part of LMS. Somewhere, whatever LMS is, we feel their presence. They were together with us as founder parents and as doctors of this valley. So they are very special doctors for LMS. So wish
Thank you, Lalita.
you
Thank
a
you for
very
your words.
happy Doctor's Day. Thanks for giving valuable time, Dr. Deepak and Kamal. It's so valuable time you have given to the students. And we had postponed all the things, tips and everything, thinking, keeping your time in mind. So thank you very much for giving so much of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Happy
you very much.
Doctor's
Thank you,
Day.
children. Have a
Happy
good day.
Doctor's Day.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So I think we'll proceed now. Dear all,
Can I add
LMS. Yes, please go ahead, Dr. Saab.
We are looking
I
for
want
Dr.
to add,
Jitendra.
I want to add regarding the symptoms of COVID, like what Dr. Deepak mentioned,
Okay.
that COVID is just like any other flu. It's like any other flu. But the difference is that flu associated with another condition. Like if you have flu and if you have tummy ache, maybe it's COVID. If you have flu and you have diarrhea, maybe it's COVID. If you have flu and you have some problem in the eye, maybe it's COVID. If you have flu and you cannot smell things, you cannot smell a perfume or a flower, it's 100% COVID.
Right, sir.
If you have flu and you cannot taste sweet and salt, you eat something which is sweet, you can't figure out. You eat something salty, you can't figure out. Means you have COVID, 101. So, if flu and nothing else, it's normal flu. But if flu and with any other thing like something on the skin, something in the eyes, something in the nose, taste, or you don't feel like eating, or you have a pukey sensation, or you have diarrhea, tummy ache, means you should get tested for COVID. And it's a very
Thank
simple
you.
test. They put something in the nose, they put something in the throat, check it up in the lab, and the result is there, which is very, very sensitive.
Thank you, Dr. Jitendra, for this. Sir, you'll have to bear with us. We are waiting on, children are waiting to interact with you. After say 10 minutes, sir. So you please.
Sure, I'm not working today. Yeah,
yeah, sure, sir. Thank you. So let's continue.
Thank you. We were expecting that. That is the reason.
Yeah, we'll have
why
coffee
we thought
now.
at time we'll take your time.
Yes, please. So LMS is indeed proud of the pupils who have chosen this noble profession. I'm talking about the young doctors who have been groomed to excellence under the LMS banner. And these budding doctors, we are all very proud of. And I think children, they have paved a way. And they must have inspired so many of you to actually follow that same path. What a noble profession it is. And now, may I request Urvashi ma'am to please, go ahead with the presentation which has been prepared in the honor of these budding doctors who have been groomed through LMS.
Sure, ma'am. Ajay sir. I think it's getting repeated.
Right, thank you so much. Good presentation. And now I would like to call Lalita ma'am
So these
to
were
address all of us.
all the students present and the doctor and all the teachers. These are the LMS students groomed by LMS, and now we feel so pride. We have a pride in them, the joy, the fulfillment and exhilaration you get seeing the one-time student of yours accomplishing their goals is enough reason to be proud. They have worked so hard in their lives to be a part of one of the most noble profession. I'm so happy and I feel so blessed to have these children with us. My heartiest best wishes to all these students on this Doctor's Day, and these loving children, all I hope and wish they stay safe, they do very well in life, they stay blessed. I love them all. They are a pride of LMS family. So I'm so happy. I convey my best wishes not only to the doctors who were present in the panel, they were very close to us, they were crucial and founder members of LMS, but even the students, there are around 10, 15 students whom we know, and there are many more in the making of this profession, of this noble profession. So hats off to them, best wishes, be safe, and be well off. So I hope my children, whenever you come across, my best wishes are always there. We love to listen to you. Now, yes, Vanda ma'am, now we can carry on. This was just a tribute. We are so happy to see all our children, so many doctors and elements. Elements is not a very old school, but still it has produced a lot of doctors. And so, hats off, salute. I hope they give us sort of inspiration to our present children. We should be proud of all these LMS students who are working in such a noble profession. Thank you.
So proud of them, ma'am, and the efforts of the entire LMS family, the entire team. The credit goes to all of you, ma'am. Yes, and now, as the fourth panelist, Lalita ma'am, may I now formally invite you to please address the children on something about discipline as a way of life. Over to you, ma'am, please.
And I'm sure, Dr. Jitendra, you should not get bored. But the key word, what I would like to say to my students, that I feel the anecdote for all this is self-discipline. Montessori system, right? The very basic principle of Montessori system is self-discipline, freedom within limits. So right from Montessori 1, we groom our children to be self-disciplined. Right from Montessori 1, we make our children independent, aware about their duties. That means whatever they have to do, they know what they have to do, what they are supposed to do, they should do. They don't have to be watched by somebody or told by somebody. And this is what self discipline is all about. So, when we talk about self discipline, I feel in this COVID times, self discipline is very, very important. If you can take care of yourself, your own self, then only you can take the responsibility of others. So, you have to save yourself and you can take the responsibility of your near and dear ones to save them. And self-discipline is because for the young generation, it's very difficult. They are the social animals. They want to meet their friends. They want to break the things. For them, the COVID times is worse because they are not able to meet their friends. So we need to, whatever Dr. Jitendra Lal said in the beginning, we have to take care of all those things. It is not that if your mother reminds you or your teacher reminds you or somebody reminds you, then you have to do. You have to do in the real sense without being told and watched by anybody. And this is what I feel. Disciplining yourself is very important. Self-discipline is very important. Whatever you do, whether it's education or keeping yourself, self-discipline is topmost. And this is what, if you take care of four rights, I always keep talking to my children. Four rights means right, right way of doing the work, right place, right time, and right attitude. If you follow these four rights, you will be self-disciplined. You will be able to take care of your things the way you should. So I expect my children, they must be listening to me, and I'm in the morning assemblies and all. I emphasize a lot on those four rights, that if you are going to do these four rights, you will not regret in life. They are the basic self-disciplining. And Montessori is all about discipline, freedom within limits. And I hope my Montessorians will take care of it and will take all the advices what are given by the doctors. You must be knowing, but then also there were such wonderful, amazing facts which we came to know today, and very practical ones. And I am very sure the children will follow. Will you, all the children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All are on mute.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Some voices, it's
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
it's fine. We are so children, I just wanted to say, keep a self discipline. It is an antidote for your COVID times. If you take care of it, you, if you are responsible, you'll definitely do. So do your duties. What are you supposed to do? You should do it, because COVID times may become your lifetime experience, and it may turn out, it may change your lifestyle. So we have to take all precautions. My emphasis on the self-discipline is there to all Montessorians, and right from Montessori 1, we groom you with those exercises, how to keep yourself, have the freedom, but within the limits. Enjoy the freedom, but with self-discipline. Discipline doesn't mean somebody has to tell you or somebody has to be, you are under watch. You have to take care of yourself. Right? So this is all what I wanted to say. And now we are patiently waiting for Dr. Jitendra Lal to address the queries of the students. I am very sure we didn't allow them to talk. The students, because of the constraint of the time, now they can speak and talk. And yes, Dr. Jitendra Lal.
Yes, ma'am. I think Suryanshu, you can go next and please make a beginning.
Uh, wishing wishing you a very happy Doctor's
Thank
Day.
you.
Good morning, sir. My name is Suryanshu Sehgal, and I'm a student of class 10th. Sir, as we know that masks are of uttermost importance at this point of time, but there are different varieties and kinds of masks in the market nowadays. So, what is the ideal mask that we should use so that we can protect ourselves from the COVID? Like we have different masks and they are recommended by doctors. So, what is the ideal mask we should use?
So That's a good question. Normally, there are two types of masks. One mask is known as the hospital mask, and other mask is known as the common man's mask. So now the hospital cannot use a common man's mask, but a common man can use a hospital mask. So very high grade masks are there for very vulnerable zones in the hospitals, which are known as N95 masks. Not every person is supposed to use a hospital mask. A common mask is good enough. Now the point is the common mask has to be at least two layers of cloth, at least two layers of cloth. And a mask which has two layers of cloth, including a handkerchief turned around, is good enough. The size of the droplet which comes out of the mouth and the nose is much bigger than the mesh of common cloth. So, for all practical reasons, any mask which you wear, which is two layer, is good enough for anybody going around and on the road. Anything else?
Thank you.
Next question, please.
Good morning, sir. My name is Navya and I'm student of class 10th. I would like to wish you a very happy Doctor's Day.
Thank
So
you.
my question is that I've made a research that out of the COVID deaths, there were also some non-coronavirus deaths, right? So there were out of 328 non-COVID deaths, 128 deaths were due to the suicides in India. So does this imply that people are frustrated to stay in their homes and don't want to live?
Well, when somebody is living in his home with a job, there is a difference. If somebody is living at home without a job or with a jeopardized job, what I mean is that he has a job, but he's not working and he's not getting paid. So, a few issues come into being. Issue number one, that he has nothing to do. He has very few friends. Issue number two, he has monetary problems. Today, if you find everybody is on a EMI, he has a EMI for his car, EMI for his bike, EMI for his house, and maybe furniture and other things, many small things are available. So he is stuck into a bad situation. Now, if he has friends, he can solve it out, talk to his friends. Maybe somebody helps, maybe somebody doesn't help. But there is a psychological advantage of people who have friends. If you have nobody to talk to, neither your family nor friends, then it ends up into a situation which is known as a depressive syndrome. A depressive syndrome. In depressive syndrome, there is a suicidal tendency. Though the person appears to be absolutely normal, he will talk to you very normally. He is not mentally sick at all. He is not a schizophrenic, but he has acute depression. And during acute depression, it is known fact that there is a suicidal tendency. And it comes into an urge, It comes into an urge. If that urge goes off, he doesn't do it. But sometimes the urge is so strong that those 15, 20 minutes he cannot like tolerate and he ends up in a suicide. So that's the main reason. And moreover, in our country, like mental health is not put into the first slot. The mental health comes down to the end. Neither the person who is suffering, nor his parents, nor the friends would really believe you if somebody says that your child or your brother or a sister has a mental problem. It is, I think, maybe it is considered a taboo. And even if somebody is sick, he is like mentally sick. He normally doesn't go for help. So, being adolescent children, like anybody who is more than class 8 is an adolescent. you have some problem up here, you must discuss it with your. I think you should discuss it with some of your friends or your doctors right away, because your parents will normally not like believe you or not put you into that slot. They will just think that it's something very simple. Point number two, there is a fatty acid. I don't know if you know what a fatty acid, which is known as omega 3. There is a fatty acid known as omega 3. Many of the foods contain omega 3. Akhrot, badam, all these contain omega 3. You have a whole lot of list on the internet what contains omega 3. Omega 3 is a very solid antidepressant. So all the children who are passing on into a stress, an examination stress or any other stress, must take omega 3. Must eat omega 3. Check onto the Google what foods contain omega 3, what oils contain omega 3. Must take omega 3. It is very good for mental health. So suicidal tendency is the outcome of a mentally depressed person, though he is not like sick. Anything else?
Thank you, sir. I think this mental health is a very important issue nowadays. It is very important. Any other question, please? Yajushi, you want to put a question? One or two questions can come our way, sir. Please, if you could bear with us. Yajushi, are you ready with your question? Arman, do you want to put up a question, please? We are waiting on. Yes, Beta, go
Yes,
ahead.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good morning, sir. I would like to wish you a very
Good
happy
morning
Doctor's
to
Day.
you.
Sir, my question is that as due to the COVID-19 lockdown, the children are confined to their homes. This has created a stress and anxiety in their behavior. So, what is your take on the mental health and the stress among the students and children in the lockdown?
Well, yes, you are right that everybody is staying home and not meeting their friends, not meeting their relatives. But now I think we are meeting many people. I think some 150, 141. So this is the way to meet people now. You can meet your friends like that. You can play around like that. You can make a video. You can have some chat fun with your friends, your cousins. You can listen to music, because you know what you why you go into the lighter aspect is you are already like stressed, and if you keep on studying, it is another stress. So might as well for some time during the day fix up a time in the evening, or say during the day, meet your friends like that, have a video call, a video chat. Maybe if you have a brother or a sister or your mom or anybody around, you can play some small games. Keep yourself busy. You can go out to the park and run and play, which is not prohibited now. So it is not that you are just behind your house. You can move out. You can go for a morning walk. You can play games, you know. The only thing which you are not supposed to do is come to the school. You can do rest all of the normal things you can do. You can take a walk. You can play. So, and then again you have some omega 3. Check out, have omega 3, buy a crore, buy borrow a steal a crore, have one every day, and that is good enough for you to give you a good neurosystem. And of course, drink a lot of water, a lot of fluid.
So we follow the omega-3 mantra given by Dr. Jitendra Lal. Okay, children, that we should be doing. Yes. And now I think Yajushi can come next, sir. Can you please at least address one or two more
Yeah,
questions if
sure,
it's
why
okay
not?
with you?
I'm there, yeah.
Yeah. Yajushi, please come forward. Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, my name is Yajushi. I am the student of class 10th. And my question is that people who are cured from coronavirus, is it possible that those people can be affected by the virus again?
Normally not. But when somebody is cured from the virus, he can be a carrier. So whenever he is off from the health institution, discharged from the hospital, or if he is staying home, he has to take another 14 days in quarantine because he can be infected. But he builds up a lot of antibodies. He will not get corona again, though he can get influenza, flu, can get, but corona, yes, unless there is another corona or another swine flu coming, which you might have read in the news that there is another corona coming. Maybe then, because it's a virus, I don't know if you know, it's a RNA virus. You know, it's a RNA. What is RNA? RNA is a single stranded virus. And in a single stranded virus, there is a tendency to lose one of the amino acids or to gain one of the amino acids. This is known as mutation. So this virus mutates, It looks like a brother and sister and a cousin, and it doesn't give cross immunity. So, but for COVID, which this COVID is, if once you get it, you get enough antibodies, and those antibodies you can take out from your blood and give it to somebody who is very sick. So that is known as antibody or plasma donation, which is, you might have seen, plasma donation is the in thing now. But he is infected, but he will not get COVID again. So that solves your answer. Anything else?
Thank you, sir.
I think the last question will be put up by Suryanshi. Suryanshi, if you're ready with your question, please. Okay, I think there's no response. So may I now request Savita ma'am to please come forward with a vote of thanks. A little something, ma'am, if you want to speak. Savita ma'am, are you there?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm there. Thank you
Yes,
very much,
please.
Vanda ma'am. Dr. Jitendra Lal, wish you a very happy Doctor's Day. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for showing up your presence and giving us such valuable practical tips. That is something you are so famous for it. You go with a very practical approach. That is the need of the demand, and that is what exactly what is required by our society. And children, thank you very much for being around, because it was a little early for you all, and you had put up such a nice environment, interactive session. I hope you have gained up most of the things, valuable things, tips given by Dr. Kamal and Dr. Deepak as well. Thank you very much. And let me introduce you once again to Dr. Jitendra Lal from my perspective. Dr. Jitendra Lal is one of a person of whom I am one of the biggest fan in the valley, and he is the one person who is not doctor with the profession, he is doctor by his vocation, which on the Doctor's Day, it's very important to have everyone realize that you need to be doctor by your heart first, not by your career wise, not the thing. That is what I actually appreciate about Dr. Jitendra Lal. Thank you very much. I'm so honored that Dr. Vandana ma'am, and thanks to Dr. Lalita ma'am as well for having this opportunity to bringing Dr. Jitendra Lal and all the elite doctors, Dr. Kamal and Dr. Deepak Kapoor on the board. Thank you very much. This is really a proud moment for all of our LMS students, that all these three elite doctors with the right concern and in the right time where it's the need of the hour, this is what we are actually needing, and this is their advices are going to be so practical and so informative for us. We need to realize that we need to live with corona. I think Dr. Jitendra Lal, I'm right, that we need to accept it, that it is going to stay for a while, and we need to adopt and adapt our lifestyle accordingly.
It is going to stay for life.
Let's
Rest of our life, it is going to be with us.
Yes.
So,
but I think
So we
Yes,
need to
but I
learn to
think
live
some
with
of the
it.
very valuable
Yes.
practical lessons we have learned from it by the outcome of it. We had been flowing into some different direction. And thanks to, I think, though we should not thank the corona, but to the situation that we have learned few good way of living. And I hope doctors' advices will be very successful, very approachable, and will be very practical for us to live with, and we'll be able to adopt the life, and we'll be able to survive this pandemic situation. Thank you. Thank you, Vanda ma'am, for giving me chance to speak.
Ma'am, please. Thank you so much.
So thank you,
Okay, I think
thank you
Lalita
all the
ma'am, would you? Yeah.
staff and the students for being there, patiently listening, interacting. I hope you take the tips home. There are lots many things to take away home. And wish you all the best. And Dr. Jitendra, wish you a very, very happy Doctor's Day. As Savita said,
Thank you
you're
very
a
much.
very practical doctor from my heart. Thank you very much.
Happy Doctor's Day.
Okay, thank you so
Children,
much.
you shall be joining your classes now, children. Please carry on. It was such a fruitful interaction. What a lovely session it was. Thank you, Dr. Sab.
Welcome.
We'll join our classes now. Yes, please.
Students, please log out and join your respective classes.
Urushi ma'am?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, what is the solution for those, deactivating the links?
Sir, for what? I'm sorry?
Deactivating the links because students are using
Sir,
it
sir,
after the
actually,
class.
if we'll deactivate every day, then the computer teacher, they have to create all the links, sir, at every day.
So it is a huge
Yes,
work
sir.
for the
So
computer
it
staff, I
will be
believe,
huge
right?
work for them, sir.
So we'll be asking the teachers to request them and then warn them the ones who are using it,
Right,
right?
right, sir.
So, and we'll be warning them that okay, we'll be frequently using it and we have to sometime enter it
Right,
if
sir.
something of that sort is happening,
Right, sir.
right, ma'am?
So else it will become a burden for computer teachers, sir.
Yeah, I can understand. I thought ki it's like one switch is there deactivated and we can activate it, but it's a difficult task. No?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Sharanda sir. Thank you for such a wonderful thing to be pointed out. Thank you very much. It's a
Welcome, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Ishita and Tenzin, please join your respective class. Ishita and Tenzin.
Urvashi ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
please extend my thanks to your team member, Pallavi ma'am. Had she
Yes,
not
ma'am.
been here, it would have been very difficult to connect these
Right.
doctors. She was here,
Yes, ma'am.
and she could, because of her only, they could get connected. Thank you
Yes,
very
ma'am.
much to your team and to your support.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.